Hello, my name is John Florine, and this is my informative speech on the effects of alcoholism on family and children. Alcohol is a part of our culture globally and locally. We are surrounded by advertising for alcohol. Alcohol is everywhere. This is actually 50% of the alcohol in our house right now. And because of this, people who are alcoholics or who struggle with drinking are easily influenced by it. We are faced with a growing epidemic of alcoholism. My younger brother, shown in this photo with his two children, was recently sent to prison for his 5th OWI. The saddest parts of this are that he had just started college, found a new full-time job, and was granted full custody of his two children. To illustrate just how impactful alcoholism is on a family, I will share with you my personal experiences and some alarming statistics and facts. In my immediate family, my father, my brother, my former spouse, and 2 of my nephews are alcoholics. According to the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, 56.3% of Americans reported that they drank in the past month. That's over half of our population. The effects on family from alcoholism are far-reaching emotionally, financially, and legally. Emotional effects include denial, withdrawal, and development of various coping mechanisms. Financial and legal effects include the loss of employment, OWI convictions, various crimes, and loss of parental rights. Whatever your perceptions of alcoholism are today, I will reveal to you a reality that I have come to know. There are a variety of emotional effects on families of alcoholics. One common response is to withdraw from the drinker because the family member feels let down. In his article, Alcoholism and the Family, Robert Ackerman, PhD, stated, "Living with an alcoholic is a family affair, and has often been referred to as a family illness. To one degree or another, all members of the family are affected. I myself have never felt let down by the alcoholics in my family. Only sadness and empathy. However, family members do express their emotions in a variety of ways. There is the denial of the alcoholism. There's the withdrawal from friends and activities with family, or the hiding of emotions. Then there are the effects of that alcoholics have on their own children. A study conducted by the Australian Bureau of Statistics reports that the children suffer more with social anxiety disorders, and a similar British Association of Social Workers study further supports this conclusion. Children of alcoholics have a higher risk of addiction and difficulty in relationships. Sometimes a child of an alcoholic can seem normal and mature for their age. This could be due to a child taking on care roles or hiding their parents' drinking. But more often than not, the child of an alcoholic is at conflict with their parent and their own feelings. As a child of an alcoholic, I swore that I would never become one. When I was married, I believed my wife would grow out of her drinking problems. This never happened, and we eventually divorced, and we do have 2 children of our own. Now let us look at what happens to the drinker themselves, both financially and legally within the system. The financial effects of alcoholism sometimes include spending one's money on alcohol otherwise meant for essentials like food and clothing. Can you imagine what it's like to want and need alcohol so bad that you would sacrifice a meal for your children or for yourself? As a result, a financial burden is often thrust upon the parents, grandparents, or siblings of an alcoholic. Alcoholics may also have difficulty holding a job due to a number of reasons. Poor work performance, being tardy or missing work altogether. Some of us may relate to this in our own lives. My mother, in the last few years, has spent $20,000, both for rent for my brother, other necessities, including food and clothing, because of his lack of employment. Then there are the costs of arrest for drunk driving and legal fees and insurance. These costs increase more with more OWI offenses. Does it appear that the mounting financial costs of being an alcoholic would deter one from drinking? It doesn't seem to be the case. Now I'd like to share with you the legal facts surrounding excessive alcohol consumption. The most common legal and criminal effects associated with excessive alcohol use are DUIs and related charges. My brother is currently beginning a 20-month prison sentence for his 5th OWI offense. The Department of Justice and the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence have compiled some startling statistics on alcohol-related crimes. Surprisingly, according to the NCADD, there are 9,878 DWI deaths annually, but only 12.4% of all alcohol-related deaths are from DWIs. The Department of Justice estimates that 40% of all violent crimes are related to alcohol, and the majority of criminal offenders are under the influence of alcohol alone and no other drug. My brother was fortunate enough, there he is again, a picture of my brother with his 2 children. He was fortunate enough to have not harmed anyone or anything while driving drunk. However, he has spent $10,000 alone in fines and in legal defense of his OWI offenses. He is now considered a multiple felon, which will ultimately affect and influence his ability to earn an income, his right to vote, and to travel. Because of his incarceration as a felon, he has also lost his parental rights. During this time, the mother of his children has had a restraining order barring her from contact with their children, but is now attempting to regain custody. The children are currently living with our stepfamily while my mother explores her legal options for custody. Although most of us immediately assume drinking and driving is a primary issue associated with alcoholism or abuse of alcohol, it is the documented cases and statistics that show a much broader problem. With all that I've shared and described, it may seem that there's no hope for my family or for anyone in a similar situation. The fact is that even with the seemingly insurmountable challenges facing our society and judicial system, due to the effects of alcohol, we do have the knowledge and resources to combat and overcome these issues. Doctors, physicians, psychiatrists, and the CDC all agree that alcoholism is a disease that can be treated with medicine, family, and community support. The businesses that produce or sell alcohol can choose to take a proactive approach in preventing overconsumption. As a member of a family with multiple alcoholics, I can accept that alcohol is a part of our culture. That's very obvious by this. This is demonstrated early on in our lives in an article published by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. Parents who drink alcohol model its consumption as a pleasurable and hospitable activity at home and as part of everyday home and holiday consumption practices. But I choose to embrace our brother, accept his shortcomings, acknowledge his disease, support his recovery and his children through one of the most difficult times of their lives. Thank you for your time.